everyone, it's Jen from practicalbydefault.com, solutions for the working homeschool mom. And today I wanted to drop in and talk to you about how to adjust your schedule during the holiday season. So I don't know about you, but I feel like during this time, instead of my schedule and life calming down and being slower, it tends to get more filled up. So there's more things to do. Hi Amy, it's good to see you. Thanks for popping on. So during this time, I find that there are more appointments, there are more things to do. And it was funny because I've been sharing about different types of breaks that working homeschool moms need to schedule during our busy holiday time. And so I was flipping through my own personal schedule and I noticed something. Starting tomorrow, I am out of the house for several hours a day for the next 12 to 14 days, which I detest doing. So I work 4 jobs. 3 of them are from home. 1 is not. A couple I love, a couple not so much. Plus I homeschool and plus I do volunteer work. So to say my schedule is kind of full is probably an understatement. But even with all those things to juggle, I try really hard to have at least 2 days back to back that we're home. Because with everything, it's really hard to do if you're not actually home. So when I knew like about a month ago that I was going to have about 5 or 6 days in a row where I wouldn't be home, and somehow those 5 or 6 days have spread to like 13 or 14. And so today I wanted to share a few things that we're doing to ease the stress and it's how I can actually deal with or get through this time period without losing my mind more so than I already have. So I hope that you can use these tips in your own life with things coming up. So always remember when I give you guys suggestions that this is things that work for me and my household and my kids, but it's super important that you do what works for you. So if you see me suggest something and you're like, not gonna work, that's okay. It really is, I promise. Use what you can, chuck the rest away. So the first thing that I did when I looked at my schedule is I noticed when I'm gonna be outside, when I'm not gonna be outside the home. And my kids are older, they're 15 and 13, so there are times where I can actually leave them. Other times I will need, someone to be with them because I don't like leaving them a long time by themselves. So my first day is tomorrow, so I have a couple hours out of the house until about 1 o'clock. Then I'll be home for a couple hours, and I gotta head back out and either do a meeting or I have to do work or I have something. And so some of the times that I'm out of the house, I won't even be getting paid for it because they're like errands or they're, getting winter tires on my car, which is not, it's not something that you can decide not to get where I live, although we've only had 1 snowstorm so far. We also lost power during that very first snowstorm. So that's life. And then I have like some vet appointments and I have to get groceries and I have to work, and some of the work is volunteer. So there's all kinds of things. So the first thing you want to do is really look at your schedule. And I like to use a paper planner, but you can use anything that you have and really look and see, okay, how many hours or what times of the day will I be out of the house? Okay, so this is super important. So it gives you an idea of exactly what you're doing. The next thing that I did is I sat down with the kids and I was like, hey guys, this is the way this week is gonna look like. At that time it was a week. This morning I was like, hey, guess what? I totally screwed up. It's actually 12 to 14 days. So for us, we do school 4 days a week, book work, okay? And then we have extra days that are not book work on the weekends. And those times where you're like fitting in last minute projects or they're working on something that they want to work on. So knowing your homeschool schedule is really important. And I am very fortunate where I live. I don't have to do school for a set amount of days. And I realize some of you might have to. So you may be looking at having to hit those 180 days or 36 days, or 36 weeks, a year. I aim for 36 to 34 weeks of school. I aim for 180, 170 days, but I don't need to account those to the school board here. So I have quite a bit of flexibility that way. So when we looked at our schedule, the kids decided that they were going to take next week off. So from Monday to Friday, we won't be doing any book work. Now, it's not like they won't be learning, but they won't be doing any school. So tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, those days they will be doing school, but we'll work around it. They'll either do most of it when I am home, or they'll do it independently, and I'll check when I get home. So the freedom of homeschooling is that you really can move your schedule around. So take a really good look at your homeschool schedule during the busy season of your life, whenever that is, whatever time of the year that might be. You know your own work schedule, you know your own life schedule, something pops up. This is a really good resource or a tool that you can use, is just to look at your schedule and see, what do I have to do? What needs to be completed, and what can let go? And for us this week, we got to let go of our book work or our school schedule. So that was really awesome. Amy says flexibility is such a bonus, and it really is, especially when life is super crazy. If you can let go of something, then not having school for us is really going to free up a lot of time and take stress off me and the kids. So how does that look for you in your household, right? Does maybe not doing school would send you guys into a tailspin? Well, then make sure you do school. But for us, this is such a great treat. So we won't be doing school. Now, that said, there's still lots of things that need to get done, right? So some things that might need to get done are housework. So how can you prepare for that? So needless to say, today I spent the day doing laundry, which I hate. And I'm actually getting it folded and put away. So I think I deserve a cookie for that, but whatever. I still have one load in the dryer, so I probably shouldn't talk yet. But I wanted to make sure that most of the laundry would be cut up. Now, 2 days from now, that laundry basket is going to be full. You know it, and I know it. But at least I know that I have, the essentials are all going to be washed and away, and they'll be there for the next 2 or 3 days. And then I can just throw a load in as I need it. So that's one thing that I did. The next thing that I did is I canceled all the kids' school chores. And yes, thank you. Amy says I get a gold star. So you might be thinking that that's really counterproductive, is to not give the kids chores when my life is going to be completely full. But that's because my kids are older and they have usually 4 chores a day. So their chores, for example, this week, let me see here if I can remember. They both have get up and make their bed. That's a chore. They also have 10 minutes of cleanup through the house, where they walk through the house and they just pick up anything that's theirs. Because I don't know about you, but I spend so much time picking up after others. It's like a cup here, a sweater here, a pencil here. I don't know where these things come from. And then you wash all the dishes and you turn around and you see that lone cup in the living room. It makes me so mad. So I wrote that down. It's like 10 minutes a day, go through, find your stuff, put it where it belongs. So the third chore was kitty litter, because I absolutely hate doing that, or the green bin. And then usually the fourth, our green bin, sorry, I should explain. Our green bin where I live is we have to put all our composting things in a bucket or a bin or something and take it out to a big green bin. And it's massive. And so it has like all your compostable, and it really smells and it's full of bugs and stuff. So I get one of the kids to do that. And so the fourth chore is usually scrape and sort the dishes, or dry and put away, because I like to wash and I hate doing the other 2 things. So next week, they don't have to do any of those chores. What they have to do instead is they're going to take turns washing the dishes. Now, washing the dishes is going to be scrape and sort, wash, dry and put away. And the reason I have one child do that like Monday, one child do that Tuesday, one child do it the next, rotate, is because they fight. So take into consideration your kid. They will be like, if one is scraping and one is washing, then they argue, well, you didn't scrape this, or you didn't wash it. It's a bloody nightmare. So this is my way of getting around that. So they will have that chore for the whole day. So actually 4 chores is easier for them, but that will be one less thing that I have to do that day. So I don't care when they do it. They can let them pile up all day and do it at night, or they can do a little bit through the day. I let them have full control over that. And that makes them happy because they feel like they're in charge. And as long as the chore is done, I don't care. So that is the next thing I do. So make sure when you're going through how you guys can use it in your life is to look and see, depending on the age of your kids, all kids can help. Can they pick up their own stuff? Can they put their dirty clothes in the laundry basket? Can they change the toilet paper roll? Apparently not, no matter how old they are, but maybe your kids are better than mine. You know, if they can do something simple, it's one less thing that you have to do. Jackie says that's a good idea. It is, it's great, and it really helps me because I have enough to do. So if it's one less thing that I have to do, it works out great. So the next thing I'm doing is planning my meals. So some days I won't get home until late, like 6, 7, 8. Some days I'll be home early. Some days I'll be home in the morning, away in the afternoon, home at night. It really depends on what's going on that day. And so if you have a schedule like this that isn't like 8 to 5, you understand how that can really throw your routine off, right? So for me, meals are a big thing. I like to cook, but I don't always like to cook after I've been working all day or when I'm running in and out of the house. So what I'm doing, I don't have this completely done yet, but I've asked the kids to each pick a meal that they want to make themselves. So they are older again, so go with the ages of your kids. Both of my kids are learning how to use my Instant Pot, which is a super simple kitchen tool. It's great. I don't stress about it. There are adult jobs that I will do, such as release the steam, because for some reason, no matter how many times I say don't put your hands in there, they do. I don't know. So things like that. But a lot of the Instant Pot or even slow cooker meals, you know, you have everything and then you hit things. Sorry about that. You have everything and you just dump it in the pot, turn it on, and it's done when you get home. So they're each picking out a meal that they will make. Since they're not doing school, that'll be like their non-learning school stuff. And then I will have a couple meals, and I ask my husband to pick out a couple meals that he wants to make. So far, we have, what do we pick out? A roast, which is like super simple. You just like dump in the stuff and leave it. And in an Instant Pot, I think it takes about an hour, so that's not too bad. And you know, you can do the potatoes and the vegetables right in. It's one and done. Oh, Amy gave me a really good recipe for cream corn chowder. It has like shredded hash browns in it. That's a slow cooker meal. So I can dump everything in the morning and go. Or I can even dump it all in the pot and insert the night before. Just take it out, set it in your slow cooker, and go. I know we're going to do a roast beef, and the kids are still picking out what they want to make. So using the tools that you have. So if you have an Instant Pot or a slow cooker or even casseroles that you can pre-make, or even get the ingredients. So I'll be writing a list. I won't be able to pick these things up till Saturday because that's our grocery day. But at least I'll have them for the Sunday to next Saturday or Sunday. Amy says, yum. It is. It was super good. And I really appreciated that recipe. She gave me why can I not remember the name of this recipe? I want to say corn chowder. So if I'm wrong, Amy, please correct me. It has bacon and corn. It's really good. Jackie says I'm a big crock pot person. You know, I really wanted to love my crock pot, and I didn't until now. I kept finding all these recipes with beans in them, and the only thing I really like beans in is chili. Oh, that reminds me, I did find a recipe. It's Mexican pasta. And so I'm gluten sensitive, so I use gluten-free pasta. So I'm going to be testing, because everybody told me not to use the corn pasta in the slow cooker or the Instant Pot. They kept saying use the brown rice. So I searched and searched and searched, and I finally found them at my grocery store, the rice noodles. So I'm going to try brown rice noodles in my Instant Pot and slow cooker next week. Amy says, yep, corn chowder. Okay, thank you. It's a big hit with my boys. It's so good. I really, really like it. So again, you know, prepare what you can ahead of time. So we talked about adjusting our schedule, our school schedule, because that's something you have control over. Most of us don't really have control over our work schedule. I do and I don't. Some of them I do. Some of them I don't. Show up when you're needed, right? So that's why everything seemed to land on the next 12 to 14 days, plus I have to get my tires changed, plus I have a vet appointment, plus I have, you know, errands, and I have other family members that I have to look after. So that's all landing for some reason within those 12 to 14 days. So I don't really have control over that. So if you have control over your school schedule, being flexible, even lessening the amount of work, you know, if you have to cut out all the fun stuff and just do core stuff, then you can do that and let them do the fun stuff independently. Or if you can cut out all the core stuff for like a week or 3 or 4 days and do all the fun projects, that works too. Jackie says, let me know if the Mexican pasta works. Looking for gluten-free options in the Asian section in the grocery store. Yes, I think that's where I found them. I found, it was the brown rice pasta, and it was, I think it was in the natural section, like the, you know, where you get all the organic and like the preservative free, that kind of stuff. Because I kept sending, my husband usually gets the groceries, and I'm like, I really want brown rice pasta. And he's like, oh, I can't find it. Yeah, I can't find it. So I finally had time to go with him, and I'm like, oh, look, here it is. I actually found 3 bags because it was a sale, 3 for $5, which was so good. At least here in Canada, that's like really cheap. So I picked up rotini, I picked up penne, and I picked up the elbow macaroni. So I'm looking forward to trying that. I'll let you know how that works. I'll share it with you. Okay, so the last thing, yes, you can look there, but the Asian section always has nice rice noodle options. I will look. Our Asian section in our grocery stores are like this big. So I live in the country in the middle of, well, in the middle of nowhere, kind of. So, but I will look, because I know one store has a little bit larger section, and our Walmart section doesn't seem to have any Asian section, or I can't find it. So I'll have to look. Okay, so we talked to, I know, right? Hello, people need to eat. No school, oh yeah, chores. I know some people think that kids shouldn't have to do chores. And so if that's how you feel about it, okay, go with that. I don't. I feel like you live here, you're old enough to make the mess, and you can kind of sort of help me pick up. So if your kids are doing chores, go within their limits. 3, prepare meals. Something else I'm doing is, because I know some I'll be in like a setting where I have to wear like a skirt and a blouse and, you know, dress up, and some I don't, is I'm taking those clothes, making sure that they're all clean, making sure that, because that happens to me all the time, making sure that they match, and kind of putting them on the same hanger. I don't iron ever, but if you like to iron, you know, this is your time. Before the rush comes, go ahead and pre-iron. I'm horrible. I don't buy anything that needs to be ironed. If it needs to be ironed, it stays on the shelf. I don't have time for that. I actually took out the iron when my kids were little, and they're like, what is that? I'm like, oh, well, this is how this works. So I showed them how to iron, and then I said, when you move, you can take that with you. Much to my boss's dismay, she was horrified. She's like, I love to iron. I'm like, yeah, no. So if you like to iron, now's the time to do that. Amy says, I detest irons. My boys didn't know what an ironing board was. I know, right? I remember looking, I forget why I needed to iron something. I think my mom bought me something, and she's like, yeah, you need to iron it. I was like, oh, fine. So I went and dug it out, and they were like, I don't know what this is. So I felt kind of like the worst mom ever, but at the same time, I really didn't care. So don't be me if you care. The last thing is me time. All right, so life is busy, and I'm telling you, you need to take breaks. And you probably think I've lost my mind, which I probably did years ago, but that's beside the point. You need to find time for you, even if it's only 5 minutes, okay? So I already have planned to get up earlier than my kids, and, well, my husband's not really a morning person, so if he and I wake up, he sits on the couch, I sit on the couch, but we don't like do the whole talking, bonding thing. We're like, give me my coffee, and I need this time without you. So we both kind of give each other that space. So I already have that planned in. I also have, for me, I go to the gym. So going to the gym is like my me time. The kids don't come. My husband goes and does his thing. We have our time on the way to the gym and on the way back. That's where we kind of catch up. Like, hey, what's your plan? What are you doing tomorrow? What do you need me to do? I need you to do this. This is where we kind of plan our life, is in the trips to and from the gym. Once I get to the gym though, he goes and does his thing and I get to be by myself. And it's only for about like 20, 30 minutes, but those 20 or 30 minutes and working out has really helped reduce the stress in my life. It helps me get focused. So I'm not saying that's what it is going to be for you, but find something that's just for you that allows you to let go, right, of the stress. Because when life is really hectic, you need at least 5 minutes to like collect your thoughts, kind of figure out what you're going to be doing without everybody in your face. So some places that, or some ideas that you can have is go hide in your car. I've done that. I walk around my yard. I take my dog, throw the ball for my dog, and I walk around. Amy says Netflix. Yes, when you get a few minutes, even to chill out with Netflix, pick something that makes you laugh, pick something that makes you cry, and if you need a longer break, if you can find a time when like your spouse or your friends or a family member can take the kids and gives you even a half a day to yourself, it's pretty nice. But I won't be doing that in the next 12 to 14 days. But so for me, that's how my breaks will be. Call a friend, like really pick up the phone. These phones, they do this talking thing. I know most of us text, but actually talking to a person can really help. It helps you sort out your thoughts and, go visit your friend, go have a coffee break. So finding something is really important that's just for you. So those are a few things that I'll be doing today and tomorrow. Tomorrow's like a busy day. I'm only out of the house for 6 hours, 3 and 3, I think. I should go look at my schedule. So I'll be catching up, continue planning. I'll make my grocery list. The kids already know what they're doing. I'll rediscuss it because they will forget. Wait, who's washing? So make sure everybody's kind of on the same page, and that will really help your busy periods or seasons, even the holiday seasons, but even other times when your work schedule and life schedule and the things you can't control pick up speed. Really focusing on the things that you can control will help you find that rhythm and that space. So I hope these tips are helpful and of course practical. They're all things that any of you can do. Always use what works for you and your family. And I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. And I will let you know how that recipe turns out. So stay tuned. All right, so I will see you guys another time. Thank you, Amy, for joining me. I appreciate it. And I'll see you later.